staking out their house. When I was talking to their parents on the phone, I was telling them the cops do not have a search warrant. So what did the cops do? The cops called up the owner of the house, and I said to the parents, you don't have to let the owner in either, because the owner, you have a lease agreement. The owner shouldn't have access to that house if you have a lease agreement. So when the cops heard me say that to the parents, because I had the parents on the phone, one of them yelled out to me, he was a sergeant with Raw, and said, we're going to arrest you for obstruction of justice. Obstruction of what? I have a First Amendment right, and I was giving the parents legal advice, although I'm not an attorney, but if I know the law, I can go ahead and give them legal advice. But I just want to let you know that these police officers have been harassing Vem Miller's elderly parents, and they're right here. They should not be doing that. They should not be doing that. Do you have anything else to say?
Yes, I don't like to open doors. We're knocking on the door on the window. I got scared.
It does not take 7 to 12 officers to check for a welfare check. And coincidentally, Vem Miller was in the papers yesterday, and all of a sudden, all these cops show up to his parents, elderly parents' home. What a coincidence is that? And one thing I hate is when police officers lie. I hate that. And another thing I hate is when they're trying to abuse their power, the badge and the gun, and say, "Oh, I'll arrest you for obstructing of justice." That's bullshit. Know your rights. Stand your ground. This is Steve Sanson, President of Veterans in Politics. Until next time.